John, we're on the water. What are we talking about today?
Special fishing episode. Seeing how it's the last time I think that we're going to be able to fish this year, we decided to podcast and fish with your fancy new mics. We'll just cover everything briefly. There's a lot to talk about, and we'll hit it all next week for sure, but let's talk about corn, beans, and cattle, and finally the markets are moving.
And some fish.
Yeah, and some fish.
Welcome to Hedge Heads, where hosts Jon and Ryan Tungseth discuss commodity markets, hedging, and anything related to trading futures. Remember, the risk of loss in trading commodity interests can be substantial. These are opinions only and not trading advice. While no one knows where the market's going, they're not afraid to share some ideas.
Well, Jon, we're back on the Hedge Heads podcast, remote episode from the waters of Otter Tail Lake, where we're seeing a lot of fish, but we only got one in the live well so far. You want to talk fishing first, or you want to talk some markets?
Well, you have the new toys. We're playing with the new mics. They seem to work really good in the test. And we figure it's one of the last days that you can come out fishing in Minnesota. Well, I shouldn't say that. The musky guys will probably be out for another month. But I mean, it's going to get to freezing. So I said, hey, why don't we do the podcast on the boat? So it was my idea. And it seemed like we're going to have tons of walleyes by now, but it's so far pretty quiet. Not quiet in the market, so they are all over the place, and it was quite busy right up until the time I got here. And still, once I got here, the phone was ringing. Once you get markets moving like this, everybody wants to know what's happening. So it's been 6 months of dead phones because of dead markets,
right.
And now it's all over the place, and guys are calling.
So what is the story with, beans? I saw 11.15 last night.
Yeah.
They backed off some today, and I didn't see where they closed because I was busy. But
it was off the lows. It was down 17, 18 overnight, and it needs to. What happened is we went up above the price of Brazil, and then immediately China went to Brazil for beans. They bought 4 or 5 cargoes, and that is not to be a wet blanket here, but we do not need to go to a price where we're rationing the soybean demand. We're near 300 million bushel carryover. It can go down if the yield goes down, but we don't need to be rationing the price. So, you hear a lot of, it doesn't spend a lot of time at $11 or in the 11s. And that's true. It doesn't spend a lot of time in 11s, but we don't need to go to 12 right now. And like I say, kill that demand. That's been good, been excellent for corn exports. So we got good news and we got better markets, and it's creating opportunities. And that's what I'm excited about. Guys have been calling, and they definitely been getting involved in the markets a lot in beans. We've been talking about the July-November bean spread forever. So things are on the move, but we had a big setback today. And now the question is it going to be a larger correction, or is it just a tiny blip? But I'm already seeing comparisons on Twitter to 2020. And it's like a guy needs to pump his brakes a little bit on that. China was buying every day all the way through summer and into our fall. That really set that off. And it was really 2019 that set that off. That's where we had all that prevent plant acreage gone, and then we sparked a larger bull market in 2020 with the Chinese demand. So it's not the same market. What do you think?
I think the other difference is basis. Well, it's improved. It's not like 2020 was.
No.
2020, you were seeing huge basis improvement every day.
It was flying. Higher.
And so, I'd watch for that if we start seeing it. But I think most of the price right now is just off this agreement and seeing China come back to the market. Now, if they don't keep buying, or if they don't fulfill the agreement, which they have done in the past with trade deals of not fulfilling what they said,
pretty much everyone.
You're not going to see that improve consistently. So I don't know. I'm still watching the 3-day rally kind of thing.
Yeah.
Is it a 3-day rally rally and then you can take advantage, or it could definitely be an opportunity to buy it right now.
And that's where a lot of guys are on the sidelines on beans. If they didn't get the first trip up, a lot of people are interested in getting involved. So it's going to get quite interesting. We finally have markets moving. How are they getting involved? Well, calls, meaning when you buy a call, you want it to go up, and then you think it's going to go up. So you purchase a certain strike price, and then you profit if it goes up fast enough. So those have been what most guys have been asking about. If they sold bushels off the combine, they wanted to re-own it this year. And there was just a lot of guys that just plain stored it a lot more than they normally would. So guys are looking pretty good in beans, but they want to get more involved. That's definitely the hot market. They're trying to make corn into that market, but corn's a different deal. There's a lot of corn around, and the demand is phenomenal on the export side of stuff. But it's beans really that are stealing the spotlight here. That's where all the action is, and also wheat might be included with China buying recently. So you have that market also sparked to life. And again, it's created opportunities. Well, the guys were short wheat puts, kind of struggling for a while, and all of a sudden now everything's out of the money. So it's gotten better, even in the wheat market, which has been down. So we're excited that we just finally got some changes in different markets to deal with. This is the way it used to be all the time. And then it got, that perfect weather last year, and our perfect weather. It's just not been the same markets, but it will create marketing opportunities. We'll dive more in that in other podcasts, but it's going to create more opportunities than look like we're going to have in August, which will look like we're going to have no opportunities.
Right. How about that corn wheat spread? Because I did see wheat green and corn red.
Yeah, I had some guys were lucky enough to get it on towards the bottom, and then plenty of guys were early, but that's been looking good. So wheat has narrowed up versus the price of corn here lately, and that needed to happen. That makes for a healthier corn market, and we can allow it to go up even. It's we're watching, there's some walleyes on the bottom here. We're trying to catch them, but boy, they're finicky today. But it's you can't have wheat way under the price of corn and expect the feed demand in the U.S. to be good. But the market definitely likes the export price. The world does, I should say. Everybody's buying our corn. It's running 63% ahead of last year's pace, which was a record, by the way. So you're getting, you got good news, but I still think the market's got ahead of themselves. I think that you want to keep that good demand rolling, and you don't want to get to a price where you take everybody out of the market, like we might have just did in beans. Corn, also, I'm not a big fan of rallying right now and then coming off into spring. That's not that's what's happened the last couple of years. So you get a rally now, and then you don't get a rally later when you need to sell it. But all in all, we have very different markets creating a lot of different opportunities, and enough to be putting out even weekly updates now, where before we're just floundering around, drifting at lower prices, back and forth a little bit. We have some action.
Our fishing.
Yeah, kind of like the fishing that we have right now. This looks really good on paper, and then we get out here and they want to hide from us. We have really good bait too, red tails, and they just are full, I guess. They don't want to eat our stuff.
So what's the story with cattle? That seems to have settled down a bit.
Yep. Cash market's really good. Guys are angry. They're saying cash is too good. Now, the good news is it's a feeder cattle index, so the index will go to where cash is. But so you have a tale of two worlds. Usually when the funds get out, they don't get right back into cattle. But never say never. I mean, there's no hard, fast rules there. But when they turn their back on a market like that, it's usually trouble. What we don't have is any reports. We don't have the positioning of where everybody is. We don't know if they liquidated. They could be net short right now. Without the government reports, it makes it a little tough to gauge that. But that's the way cattle has been historically. Once the funds turn on it, not only do they get out, sometimes they get heavily short. Others argue this is the middle of a bull market. We shouldn't have sold off at all. So you got yourself a good old-fashioned trading market. You could easily go either way. way, not to be wishy-washy, but you definitely have very strong fundamentals yet. But at the same time, I don't know how much more resolve the feeder guys are going to have in the sale barns, continuing to pay just an astronomical price if it's not going to come out on the live cattle side. Like, eventually they'll get tired of doing that, and that price will drop. But you're going to hear good arguments on both sides, and it is going to be, I would say, a very volatile market. We were down we're up $3 and then down $5, $7 for feeders. You're gonna see a lot of that in the days ahead. Ups and downs. Start off lower, go higher. Start off higher, go lower. It's just going to be a volatile market. Guys are stepping in there with some success, though. You do need to keep your eye on it, and it's very risky. But that's what's happening in cattle. Very fundamentally bullish market, but a very different feel to the actual, the way the futures are trading now. And of course, everyone's mad at how this all happened, but we'll see what's going on. And one more big thing real quick is they do seem intent on getting that Mexican border open. A lot of dialogue. They've been up here. Mexico's been up here. We've been down there, and it's going back and forth nearly every day. So it does look like that's inevitably going to open fairly soon. And that won't obviously bullish feeders. They say there's 250,000 ready to come in at a moment's notice. I don't know how they get those numbers. Seems made up, but it could be that many. What do you think?
Could be. I mean, I think it's they're determined to do whatever they can for basically the beef price, for the consumer price, and to assist with that. So I expect border open. I expect more Argentina. News on that side. I don't think that helps the egg side.
Yeah, he did. So. He did hint at that. That is going to be what they're pursuing here, is a lower beef price. And then the grains. Everybody's happy now. So like I say, we had nobody happy in the grain market, and everybody happy in cattle. As far as producers now, more happy in grains, and now the cattle producers aren't happy. So it doesn't seem like we can get together and all be happy at once.
Right.
But maybe one day we'll find an equilibrium price where everybody makes money. At least that's what.
And then everyone will be unhappy.
Yeah, they'll be unhappy because it's for some reason. But I've kind of been avoiding the social media lately. I don't think you're gaining a lot of knowledge going on there. You're going to have a lot of speculation on where grains are going, a lot of speculation on where cattle are going, and I really don't think we have a lot of hard, fast answers here. I think you take it day by day, week by week, and just it could do. Grains are capable of going a lot higher, and cattle's capable of going higher, or they might not. I mean, it's just you cannot.
Great trading advice on the Hedge Heads podcast.
Yeah, because you have bearish fundamentals in corn, but you have good demand, so it doesn't have to go up, but it definitely can. Beans are really the interesting market, in my opinion. That's where I think the action is, and that's where I'm going to be. Definitely call Ryan or I, and we'll tell you exactly what we're doing. But beans is going to be a fun market, I think, and at least we have something. And there could even be bidding for acres. Well, that's a stretch right now, but it's possible that there is even a light competition this year or going into spring. But other than that, just happy to see the markets moving, and much better markets providing a lot more opportunities. And everyone's calling, texting, or emailing. Probably the most active period I've seen in a very long time. And it's good to see, and the markets are going higher. So yeah. I'm happy about that.
I just jumping back to that bidding for acres. I mean, we talked about it a couple of weeks ago, the 81 million acres. I mean, it was one of the smallest crops we planted without trouble for soybeans, right? And there's a whole lot of corn. It'll be interesting to see how the price goes coming into spring and how that affects decisions for next year. And I think that's where watching some of these spreads is going to be important.
Yep.
And it's also going to be important just watching next year and making that plan for where are you going to hedge, just to watch where this price goes now.
And that's the most confusing part of what this rally is. Guys don't know if this is the best price they're going to see, or we're only beginning. And that's why I say it could go up or down. You're in a unique market where it is capable of either for the short term. But I don't want to see beans too high yet. You don't want to curb that demand to where you get under the Brazilian price and then have China go back like they just did there. Then we go into a free fall and the whole thing starts all over again. So I'd rather see a nice, healthy, demand-driven market. I think corn is closer to that than anything, where you're seeing great demand, no reason to go to a lower price, but there's a lot out in the countryside to be sold. So we're gonna see both sides here.
Absolutely.
I thought you might have a bite there.
Close the bail, but nothing was there. So
we're going to move to a
dragging.
different spot here pretty soon. This spot is so secret that I guess the fish don't even know about it so far.
So far, not even the fish have found it.
Yeah, we only have about 45 minutes of daylight out. There's a sailboat guy out here too.
Yeah.
He went right by us here earlier. I mean, that's a brave guy. I mean, what's the water temperature? 45?
Yeah, 45 degree surface temp, and there's a pretty good breeze. I would not want to fall off my sailboat.
Yeah, it's cloudy, the sun's gone, and you need to be a good sailor to be out here. And it's not too windy, but still, if you go in the drink, it's going to be trouble for you.
It's not going to feel good. Well, that sounds like a good spot to wrap up the episode, John. Unless you have something.
It would have been great to catch a couple fish live on air, but you just need more talent, I guess, than we have today. No, they're pretty tight-lipped. They're not easy today at all.
I'd agree with that.
Yeah, they're not hungry.
Well, you want to leave your number in case somebody wants to call for not fishing tips, but maybe some advice.
You can get both. I'll give you both. 218-731-1578.
Thanks, John.
Sure.